All right, so before we sort of get into the nitty-gritty of the circulatory system, let's define a couple of things. The first, as always, is going to be the purpose, right? So it seems a little obvious to some, but not for everybody. The purpose is twofold. The first is to sort of bring nutrients to cells. Cells need things. They need minerals, they need glucose, and most importantly, they need oxygen. Right? The only way that that's going to get to them is through the circulatory system. So the blood's going to carry all these nutrients that cells need and sort of diffuses them over to the cells, as the demand increases. The second thing is to remove waste products from cells. And again, right, cells are going to produce a lot of things that they don't need, that they can't use, that are waste, but the big one we want to focus on is carbon dioxide. Right? Hopefully, you remember the relationship between these two, right? They're both involved in cellular respiration. I know that every time I bring up cellular respiration for students, they groan and they go, oh, shoot, I don't remember that. So here's the equation just to refresh your memory briefly. C6H12O6, or glucose, is going to combine with 6 oxygens, and those are going to be converted into 6 carbon dioxides plus 6 waters, and most importantly, about 36 ATP. Okay, so here's the glucose, and you burn it with oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and cellular energy. So you're taking the glucose, which is a chemical form of energy, and you're converting it into a different chemical form of energy that the cell can actually use. This is sort of like, right, the money of the cell. It's what it uses to do work. And you need glucose and oxygen to do that. So the oxygen has to come to the cells so that they can make energy. As they make energy, this process produces carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide is a waste product. Photosynthesis can use carbon dioxide, but that's only in plants. Humans cannot undergo photosynthesis, and so this is sort of worthless to us, and we need to get rid of it. The blood helps carry this away as the cells make energy. So keep in mind, right? The more energy a cell needs, the more oxygen it needs, meaning the more blood it needs to receive, and the more carbon dioxide it produces. Okay, so those are all related to each other. The next thing we want to do is sort of define a couple major vessels, right? So we've got arteries and veins. Okay, do not fall into the trap of thinking of these vessels in terms of being oxygenated or deoxygenated, because it doesn't really work that way. That will get you wrong answers on tests. So let's look at arteries first. Right. So the goal of arteries is to carry blood, and this is how you should memorize this, right? Carry blood away from the heart. Here, we'll draw it like that. All right. Veins, then, you can probably guess, are the exact opposite. They carry blood towards the heart. Well, let's do that in black. All right. Please, please memorize it this way. If it's leaving the heart or if it's moving away from the heart, it's an artery. If it's moving towards the heart, it's a vein. We could also look at this in terms of the arterial system, and you're going to see that there's a bunch of different vessels, right? But if they're moving away, it's technically part of this arterial system. And there's going to be a bunch of different names for veins, right? But if it's moving towards the heart, we can look at it as being part of the venous system. Okay, so keep this stuff tucked away in the back of your head as we move forward.